Okay, there better be audio this time. This is my third take of my Facebook Live today. Today is not a good day for my Facebook Live career. Either way, legal liability week. We're talking about legal compliance this week. Today, legal liability. Just going to start as elementary as I possibly can and just tell you, what does liability mean? This is a question that a lot of people ask. They're like, legal liability, who cares? Like, what does that even mean? It just means legal responsibility. It means that if you do something in your business or in your personal life, and you get sued and you lose, you'll be liable or responsible for whatever monetary damages the court says that you have to pay. So a lot of what we do as attorneys and what we do and trying to help entrepreneurs and even real estate owners, just people that are just doing business, protect themselves, is just make sure that they're in compliance and that they have legal liability protections in place. So my office mate let me know last time my audio wasn't working. Glad it's finally working. Forgot to switch the button on for like the millionth time in my life. So when we're talking about liability, it's just, are you going to be responsible for paying for a lawsuit, basically, in this circumstance? So when we're talking about LLCs specifically, here's you and my pen. Of course, it's going to be out today. Just one of those days. You're very happy. You're over here. You have a business. You're on your computer and you're typing away and you're, making money. All of a sudden, somebody sues you. What happens if it's just you sitting here by yourself? You are responsible. You are liable for the damages personally. No matter, it doesn't matter that you have a business. Doesn't matter that you're a sole proprietor. You have no sort of entity protection set up at the state level. Basically, it's just you sitting here on your computer. So this is what an LLC does. It creates a wall between you. Let's say these are bricks. This is not a great drawing, but you get it. Look, here we go. Why not just do it like that? This is a wall. This is your business here, your LLC. If you set up an LLC, there's a wall between you and your business when it comes to legal liability. And that can work two ways. That can work on lawsuits against you and lawsuits against your LLC. So what do I mean when I say that? When there's two ways, meaning this is outsiders trying to get to money that's inside of your LLC, and this is people inside that you've done business with that are trying to sue your LLC and then get to your personal assets. So when you get in a car accident and your insurance doesn't pay for whatever reason, and somebody has been injured and requires plastic surgery and needs $2 million worth of work done, and that creditor that the court has ruled that you are liable for and responsible for paying their damages tries to come after you, of course, you probably don't have $2 million in personal assets. So they're going to look to your business and try to get all the assets that are inside of that and all future assets that business does. But if you have an LLC and it's set up properly, whether you have one person, two people, three people, five people in it, it doesn't matter. The LLC assets cannot be touched by this creditor, an outside judgment creditor, basically is what that's called. Doesn't matter if it's a personal creditor or a lawsuit, whatever it is. A lot of times they'll try to get at what is inside of your business, and they can't because you have an LLC properly set up. And it also works the other way. You say you have a coaching business, you give some advice that one of your students takes, and then they go and it's bad advice and they get sued and they try to then come back and sue you. Well, if you've done it through your business, then your personal assets are not going to be at stake in that lawsuit. So your LLC may be found to be responsible, to be liable for those damages, but you're personally not going to be on the hook. So you're not going to lose your house. You're not going to lose your car. You're not going to lose all of your savings. You're not going to lose, any sort of any other thing like what's it called when you get an inheritance? My brain not at the best level today. So these are the kind of the ways that an LLC will actually protect you, and it's the easiest thing to do, and it's the first thing that you should do when you start your business. Don't just be out here operating as a sole proprietor, giving out advice, transacting business, doing all sorts of things that you could be held responsible for in the future. Make sure that the first thing that you do is you set up an LLC. Now, so many of the coaches that I see online that run courses and stuff say you can wait till you make $50,000, $100,000. Even CPAs get this wrong super duper often. They'll advise you that until you're making $100,000, you don't need to set up an LLC because there's no tax benefit to it. That's not necessarily true in itself, but they don't understand legal liability a lot of the times. an accountant hasn't read all of the lawsuits of people losing their homes and everything that I have, and that most attorneys are forced to read. So they're looking to save you money, but they're not thinking about the legal side of it, of a lawsuit coming at you and then that possibly hurting you and losing everything. And you could have had an LLC set up for like a couple $100. So that's what an LLC does, creates a wall between you and your business in a very good way, in the best way possible. And so many questions that can be answered and asked about an LLC. I'll answer the most common one that I get, which is where should you set up your LLC, which state? And that 100% of the time is the state that you live in, assuming we're talking about business here. Real estate, you have to set up the LLC in the state where the real estate is located. Anytime you're talking about online business, it must be in the state where you live. And if you don't believe that, and you're maybe rolling your eyes and thinking that you understand something different, you're 100% wrong. Your business must be set up with your state. So don't go to Nevada, don't go to Wyoming, unless you live in Nevada or Wyoming, to set up your LLC. Make sure that you're setting up your LLC in your state. Now, if you, for whatever reason, want to set it up in Wyoming, that's fine, as long as you file in your own state as well as a foreign entity LLC doing business within the state. If you don't do that, you pointlessly have an LLC. You will get no legal liability protection if you set up an LLC outside of your home state and then transact business from within your home state. You have a nexus, what's called a nexus with that state. I don't want to get into too much techno babble, but you'll have just flushed your money down the toilet for your LLC, thinking that you have a business and that you have a wall between you and your business, but there will be no wall and you will lose all your money. Okay, let me know what you want me to talk about this week. I know we're going to talk about terms and conditions. We're going to talk about privacy policies. What other compliance issues are there? There's tons of business compliance, affiliate disclaimers, when your privacy policies, how you're setting up, what the disclaimer is that underneath when you're collecting people's email addresses, how you need to make sure that you have the proper language as far as making your business an asset that's transferable, that's sellable, meaning your email list needs to be something that can be transferable or assignable to someone else. And there are certain mistakes that people make that are super common that prevent your business from being able to change hands. If someone comes and offers you $10 million for your business and you want to be able to sell it, that's not going to happen if you don't have the proper language in your privacy policy, because nobody's going to buy your business if they can't email your customers, especially in online business. So we're going to talk about all those things this week. Tag somebody that doesn't understand LLCs here. Tag your wife, your husband, your cousin who's running a business, side hustle, anything that they're doing, affiliates stuff on this, so they can understand why they need an LLC. And we set them up so cheap. I'm not trying to make this an advertisement for myself, but we do them real cheap and a lot better than a lot of the big name companies who have just a warehouse full of like 16-year-old kids setting them up. Actual attorneys set up your LLCs here. So get a wall in your business. If you're not in my group, probably you should get in my group, because I'm going to be making all of the previous trainings available to everybody in there and only leaving them up to the public for 1 week after they're recorded. And they're only going to be available in the group. And there's so many trainings, about 10, 15 trainings that are going to be in there for business owners. And they're all pretty valuable. And these legal compliance trainings can literally change your life. They can change everything that happens in your life as far as losing all of your assets and making sure that that does not happen to you. So get in my group, llcfreedom.com/group. And can't wait to see you guys there. Let me know what you want to see this week.